Hey there, my friends. Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into another edition of my weekly video. Today, I'm actually going to share with you 3 ways to color without coloring. How's that for a trick? So this is the stamp set I'm using. It's called In the Moment, and I love, 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 love the stamp set, but sometimes I just don't feel like doing all of that coloring, right? So I'm going to show you one of my very favorite ways to fill this stamp set in without having to color. And then I'll show you a couple more examples of ways to use this set. So I am using the Abstract Beauty, the 4x6, the new 4x6 paper. I have a half a pack here that I've used a lot of it, and I'll show you some other cards at the end. But right now I wanted to show you a little trick for when you want to add some pizzazz to a card but you don't really want to color. This is my favorite trick, although I will tell you it does involve fussy cutting, so I know that's an issue for some other people. I know some of us like to fussy cut, some of us don't, some of us like to color, some of us don't. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my little lady here on my white. And then while I have my ink pad out, I'm going to go ahead and ink her up again. And this time I'm going to stamp her on kind of a subtle background. So I'm going to stamp her there. And I know this has all sorts of stuff on it, but I'm going to cover that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and stamp that. So now I have my 2 images, and basically we're gonna play paper dolls, you guys. So this is one of my favorite things to do. Let me grab my scissors here, and we are going to cut right around the dress. So basically we're going to create her little outfit out of a pattern paper, and this way I do not have to color it, right? And I personally love to color, but I know that's not everybody's thing. So totally a personal preference, right? I'm gonna do this one the lazy way, and I'm gonna cut her whole dress out in one shot. You could cut these pieces individually if you wanted to, and I'll show you how I did that and actually got different colors for her by doing that. But I'll show you that in a sec. So for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this whole thing. So I'm cutting her hair too, because it's just easier than trying to do everything separate. But I'm gonna cut off her arms because we will have to color a little bit there if you want to add color to the rest of the image, which I don't necessarily think you have to though. So let's go ahead and see how we do here. I'm going to go ahead and trim this out. So now you can see I can just go ahead and tape this right over my little stamped image, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and tape that down here. Now I said no coloring. This one I may actually just do a tiny bit of coloring for her skin tone. And we have a bunch of new skin tone markers, you guys. If you haven't seen it, it's available right now as part of the All Together collection. And there's 10 new skin tone blends markers, which are awesome. Right now we have ivory and bronze, which is 2 kind of generic color schemes. But if you want more variety, then be sure to check that out too. And this is all Stampin' Up! Product, so if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up!, you can visit stampinup.com. And of course, my link to my store is in the description below. Okay, so now we have this cute little finished thing that I had to color just the arms, right? I could color in additional parts if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to keep this super simple. So now I'm just going to figure out like what I want to do for the background. Maybe some golds. That's kind of pretty, right? Oh, actually, maybe I'll just keep it really generic and do some black and white polka dots. That's cute, right? I think I'll do that. We're going to keep it really simple here. Do some black and white polka dots. So now that's going to cover up that little mess I have there. And I can do this. I do feel like I want to do another one of my favorite tricks here. I did this on one of my sample photos too, or sample cards too, but I love to kind of do a jagged edge with this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take my fingers and I'm gonna just tear towards myself, and I'm not being super meticulous about this. I'm just ripping in small little sections, and then I'm gonna rip towards myself. It just gives it a little more interest, I think. So there we have that. Okay. Now, let's see, what else do I want to add into this? I do feel like it needs a little more pizzazz. So, I was trying not to use my die cutting machine or anything because I wanted to keep this super simple. So, let's see. I almost feel like maybe that's too bland. What if we do this like that? Oh, that's better, I think. Less white, so it makes it a little more of interest. And I do feel like it needs a little bit of texture, so I'm going to pull in the soft succulent ribbon. It's not quite an exact match because that's just jade, but I feel like it's a similar enough color that it's going to work. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this, and we'll do a little, I think we'll see. Maybe I'll do a bow, maybe I'll do a knot. This ribbon does really tie nice bows. So let's go ahead and see if I can get a small little bow out of this, although I didn't really give myself much space on that side. Like that. Maybe a really tiny little bow. We'll floof it up a little bit. There we go. It's actually kind of cute. Make it a little tiny bow. I told you this ribbon makes super cute bows, and they're easy to do. So let me just trim that down. Now I'm not sure exactly where I want that, but that's okay because we can go ahead and move it once it's tied around this panel. And I like to tie it around a panel rather than putting it directly around the front base of my card because that gives me a little bit more versatility. I'm going to actually move it over just slightly, and I'm going to try and position it so that the bow is kind of sideways. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take your pick tool. I'm going to grab myself a little mini glue dot with the pokey end of my tool, and I'm going to kind of switch this so it's kind of sideways, and then I'm going to secure it with that glue dot. So now it's kind of positioned on the side, which I like, and then we're going to put this on top. Okay, this can get taped down because I'm happy with that. So I'm going to do that. Okay, we'll attach this here centered. So this piece here is 4 by 5 1/4. So the pattern paper is 4 by 6. So I just took off 4 by 6, and it's 5 1/4. So I took off 3/4 of an inch on the long side, and that was it. Okay, I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. Put one in each corner and one in the center. And there we have that component of our card. Then I need to put a sentiment on here. And I feel like there's a little sentiment that's part of this set that says, "You're in my thoughts," which I think is very useful. So let's go ahead and we will grab, let's actually grab a piece of this pattern paper, and I'm going to stamp on the bottom of that. Okay, so I want to make sure the words are straight on the bottom, so I'm going to use my grid paper here to line that up, and then hopefully I can do this with the camera in the way. I'm going to stamp that on the bottom. Oops, I'm a little crooked, but you guys get the idea, right? So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. Okay. And then I'll just cut this on an angle. Maybe we'll do little angles. It's a nice, easy way. And then I'm just going to pop this in or on top of my image. Okay, I'm going to actually use a little bit of mini dimensionals maybe. I think I have some of those around here somewhere. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, there they are. I'm going to go ahead and grab some mini dimensionals. And we'll pop that onto the card with a little dimension. There we go. So it just makes it stand off a little bit more. And there you have it. There's the finished card, and there was no coloring with that one, right? So let me show you some more examples with this. So another way to be able to stamp with this stamp set without having to color is going to be doing, I mean, technically this one I did color a little bit here too, so I'm kind of lying a little bit, but all I did was one color. So I just picked a pretty, not a super busy, but a somewhat busy background, and then just colored the whole thing with my Stampin' Blends with the light color, and then I just went in with the dark version of Petal Pink and colored in those dark and light layers a little bit. It's not an exact match to the paper that's, or the color that's in the pattern paper, but I feel like it's close enough that it looks fine, right? So there's number 2. The third way to do your coloring a line art image without coloring is this one. So I used my Stampin' Emboss powder. I used white powder on Night of Navy and then heat embossed it with my heat gun and added that to just a small tiny little white border background and added that to a really busy pattern paper, which I think works really well. So let me show you some more. So these two were just kind of to show you the different ways to do stamping or to do stamping without coloring, but I actually designed a whole class around this stamp set. This is going to be my Stamp of the Month class for this month, February, so that will be opening soon. So if you're not already on my email list, be sure to go scroll down into the description. There's a link for you to be able to join my email list, but these are all the cards I made with that pretty paper, and so these are the cards you'll be able to make as part of Stamp Club. And you'll see with this one, I did that same technique I showed you with our card from today, except for this one, I stamped the hat and the skirt on the pink paper, and then I stamped the shirt on the patterned paper. So you can really mix and match. That's why I call it like paper dolls, because it looks really cool, especially if you start mixing and matching patterns. I also did it on this one, but I did this one all in one pattern again too. So the polka dots was her hat and her dress, but then I just colored in around it as well. So I broke the rule there as well because I colored her hands, her wine, and the background. But again, very little coloring that you need to do for that. So there you have it. So this is actually the cards that you will make. So these are the 4 here. You'll make 8 cards, 2 of each design, and I cut and prep everything, and then you get a half pack of that patterned paper. You'll get the denim ribbon and some embellishments to embellish your cards, which I have not done yet. And then this one is going to be my 5th thank you card. And the reason why this one is no coloring is because I need to make one and finish the whole thing for each of you, so I tend to not want to do a ton of coloring for those classes. But the class always includes a hand-stamped thank you card, as well as your 8 card kits and a little pillow gift or treat as well. So once the registration for that is open, I will update the link in the description below so you can register below. Otherwise, the best way to find out information on that is just to join my email list, which is linked below right now, and you can join that, and then as soon as Stamp of the Month is open for registration, you'll get notification and you can make these really pretty cards on your own. They're self-paced. You get a written tutorial so you can do it whenever you decide to. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great week. If you liked this video, please be sure to subscribe, and I appreciate you. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.